In the name of our loving and liberating God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Please be seated. I want to thank you for being here tonight because Christianity is really meant to be shared. And at certain events like this, it's a wonderful opportunity for us to be together. So thanks for being here. I don't know if you've noticed it, but whenever you see images of Christmas or the birth of Jesus, there's always a group of people together. Whether it's like in our creche tonight, or it's on the cover of a Christmas card, or if it's in a Christmas pageant, you never have just Jesus at the birth. There's always at least Mary. It's never just Mary. It's never just Joseph. There's never just one wise man or one shepherd. It's a group. Christmas is about a group. God has come to a group. The Lord has been born for a group, for the whole, for the world. And at the same time, Christmas is also about the one. It's about the individual. Because every member of that group had to decide and weigh in his or her own heart. Am I going to go to that manger? Am I going to participate in this story? Am I going to believe in a Savior? Mary had to ponder these things before she consented to say yes. Joseph had to really think about it in his own heart and before he agreed to accompany Mary. The shepherds had to overcome this great fear before they said, yes, we want to go see the good news of great joy. And the three kings had to overcome a lot before they could go and follow that star. At any point, any member of that group could have said, no, forget it, angel. I'm going to stay at home. It's warm in my house. It's dark out there. It's cold. We're going to ignore the invitation. We're going to say no to Christmas. But they did say yes, and they weighed the choice, just like you do. My mom, who's here tonight, told me once that when she was deciding whether or not to marry my dad, she took a piece of paper and she drew down the line, down the paper, a little line, and she put on one side all the benefits of marrying Jeff Callard. And then she put on the other side all the perhaps detracting points from marrying Jeff Callard. That's what you do when you're trying to figure out, am I going to this manger or am I going to stay home? Do I say yes or do I say no? Or it's like one of those old-fashioned scales that you see. I've never seen one in real life, but you see them in the movies where they're balancing two things. And that's what you do. You're making a choice. And on one side, you've got Jesus, right? But then on the other side, you've got all this other stuff. So here on the Jesus side, God is saying to us, are you going to trust Jesus in your life? Are you going to give yourself over to Jesus Christ? Are you going to put your heart into Him? Are you going to live a life that He would be proud of? Are you going to say yes tonight? And there on the other side is all the stuff that goes potentially in the no column. You know, our doubt. Jesus is here, but think of all the doubt we have. Think of the times when we say, you know, that can't be real. God can't be real. It's just got to be made up. How can there be an all-knowing, all-loving being who created us out of nothingness? How could a virgin give birth to a child? All of this doubt that we have from time to time. And it's weighing against our saying yes. And the other thing that is so strongly weighing, at least on my heart, is fear. And this sense of darkness. Here you've got Jesus, but here on the other side, you've got all of the darkness of the world around us. All of the bad things that have happened in this year, all the war and the poverty, the injustice, the inhumanity that people create against each other. And you say, well, how can a baby stand up against the darkness of the world? What is a baby? After all, you look at a baby and you say, well, what's a baby? And Christmas, I don't know if you realize this, but Christmas is really the celebration of a baby. What can a baby bring to the world? At least if we're measuring between choices, give us the adult Jesus who's got some miracles under his belt, who we can fully agree is going to change the world. But a baby isn't complete. A baby is in process, and a a baby requires some hope. I remember when my last baby, Jefferson, was born, and looking at him a couple of minutes after he was born, after they cleaned him off, and after they wrapped him in swaddling cloths, and after they did whatever they do with the umbilical cord, they handed him to me, and I looked down at him, and I thought, well what's your story? What's it going to be? What are you going to do? You look so cute, and so strong, and so well put together. I see potential in you, but who knows? Looking at a baby, how do you know what will come? After all, he's got my genes, which means all sorts of bad things could happen. But then he's got his mom's genes, which means that all sorts of good things could happen. Because if you've only got a baby, all you've got is hope. If you've only got a baby, all you can say is, well, I hope this will turn out okay. I hope this is the right choice. I hope this is the right place to put my faith. Because I can't really see it. Isn't that a lot to ask of a baby? Isn't it a lot to ask of us? Isn't it a lot to ask of those people who made the trek tonight? But God comes as a baby, and God had to come as a baby because there's a certain quality to a baby. And I want to tell you a story I heard this past week from our bishop, and I've never heard this story before. Forgive me if you've heard it, but I wanted to share it. And it's a true story about a group of people who were fleeing Nazi Germany as refugees. They were trying to get away and flee this town that the Nazis had just come into, a group of Jewish refugees. And they were going out of the town, but they were going very slowly because there among the group were some elderly folks and some children and a woman carrying a baby. And as the group slowly made its way out of town, they got to a point where the oldest member of the group, this man, said, I can't go on any longer. And he just sat down. Go on without me, he said. And the rest of the group just kind of went on without him, except this one woman, the woman with the baby. And she stopped and she turned to him and she said, you've got to keep going. They'll kill you. And he said, I just don't have it within me. And she said, no, you've got to keep going. And she handed him her baby. And she kept walking. She walked away. And the man said, what am I going to do? I've got this baby. I have to protect this baby. I have to get up. So he got up and he walked the rest of the way to salvation. In saving that baby, the baby became his savior. Because there's power in a baby. There's power in young life, in such potential as perhaps we have forgotten. Do you remember what potential is like? Do you remember the total possible world that you face when you're a baby? And the power to do incredible things that we perhaps cannot see ourselves doing, and the power to touch hearts and to change lives. For a baby is not just a symbol of hope, but a baby is love. A baby is pure love. And if that baby is God, God fully born, that baby will change everything. For love can change everything. We just need to pick him up. We just need to pick him up and walk with him and allow him into our lives by taking him with us and by saying just this one thing, just saying yes. Yes. 2 weeks ago, the executive committee, the leadership of the Cathedral, made what are called the cardboard testimonials, and we shared them last Sunday, and we videotaped them, so if you'd like to see them at some point, they'll be out. And what you do is you put on one side of this big piece of cardboard, you put some situation or some condition in which you find yourself, some place where you perhaps struggled and had a hard time, and then you flip it over and you put on the other side the difference that Jesus has made there. How Jesus has saved, how he has changed your condition, how saying yes has transformed you. And so I put on mine that I went from being anxious and fearful to being secure and loved because I said yes. Others wrote that they went from being super super busy and going all the time to finding spiritual time with God because of their yes. Another went from being angry at injustice to being empowered by prayer and love. Someone wrote that they went from being anxious at trying to imagine that they were in charge of everything to finding peace when they realized that it's God who's in charge, because they said yes. And another that they went from the bondage of addiction to being in a state of grace because of Jesus. I wonder if you made one of these, what would yours say? How has saying yes to Jesus made a change in your life? Or if you have not said yes, if you said maybe, and you're still kind of weighing the scales before you between Jesus and doubt, or Jesus and fear, or Jesus and the overwhelming darkness, the world, or Jesus and whatever it is, how do you imagine picking up that baby and walking with him might change you? I know what the Bible says. That when Jesus was born, the world went from being beset by darkness to being gifted by light. When Jesus was born, the world went from being trapped by the power of armies and soldiers to being freed by a Prince of Peace. When Jesus was born, the world went from having hatred and anger rule the day to being lifted by the presence of love. And spears turned to pruning hooks, and crooked paths were made straight, and lost and tortured souls found peace. And love can do that. So why not put our yes there? Let's put our yes there into this love, this newborn love, who even now is making his way from here out to there in the darkness of the world, to the places of sorrow and despair. All these places waiting to be changed by a word. All of these lives waiting to be changed beginning tonight, right now, with yes. Thank you for being part of this group here at this manger tonight. Thank you for your maybe. Thank you for your doubt, your fear, and for your yes. And we thank you, God, for sending Jesus to be born just as you were. May we carry you with us tonight, just as you have carried us. In your name we pray.